눈에 좀 들어오는 크로켓도 되게 괜찮은데? 그러면 이렇게 시키는 건 어때? 메인 하나, 사이드 하나, 그리고 시즈닝 라이 하나. 좋아? 그럼 레그가 좋아? 아니면 시즈닝이 좋아? 감바스도 있어. 그래서 감바스로 먹어. 감바스로 먹어. 피노그리지요? 아니면 샤도네이도 좋아?
Are you trying to get in, or you already have a
yeah.
seat?
We're gonna have a seat together. It's packed actually. Do you wanna go through? Thank you so much. Okay.
So you have to go to the floor, okay?
On the floor? Yeah, that's fine.
And you?
Whiskey.
Also. Also
Sorry.
whiskey?
Is it whiskey is also welcome drink?
Yes.
Oh,
welcome
thank you.
drink.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Thank you.
Yes. Because here, next time you have to bring your own drink. Drink just for first time visit.
Oh, okay, okay. BIO here?
Yeah.
Okay.
You 睇下吓。
Okay, one over there.
Awesome. Thank you.
You can
Thank you so much.
go to your friend.
So just anywhere on the floor?
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, okay. Wait, I can go behind him so you can sit down over there. How about that?
Can you put your bag down? There? Or there?
Really?
Well, you don't have to.
Oh.
Or, what about there?
Hello? Oh, there we go. All right, let's go. Kiss me, I'm happy as I can be. I learned to love and to live. Devil may care when the day is through. I suffer no regrets. Never knowing my right foot from my left, my heart from my claw. I'm too mischievous, I'm too much. It's a cathartic moment for me, actually, being able to sing this song. Because sometimes you look back and realize how far you've come until you've tried to do the same thing that you failed, and then you realize, well, I have overcome this problem quite a long time ago. So this is it's a full circle moment for me, I think. So the next song, it's one of my favorite standards. It's called How Insensitive. The reason I love this song is because most songs you hear
Do you want me
You
to
can
get a
talk.
photo?
No.
Oh my god!
아, 그 나이 작년.
아.
처음이 때 봤어.
아니 이제 와인
근데 또
내년에 볼 거야?
그러니까 내년은
돈 많이 받았어.
아 진짜? 저도 모르겠어요. 나도 샤넬 잘 모르겠어.
나는 돈은 상관없다. 난 돈이 상관없다. 이래가지고.
How's it?
It's done. Here's Biggie's.
Shaw and Smith is really good. One sec, come back.
Good. It's not very much.
I wanted the pizza place as a dessert pizza as well, like chocolate pizza or something. Ooh, what's that? It's coming. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
These look like the dishes from Thailand. Not all of them, yeah. We should think about this.
You know, borrow the band together, and then we just go around and then work in the hospitality. And do you remember that idea?
Yeah.
I still think that was awesome. Wow. Yum. Ah, so yummy, right? Honey, I want to, but should we? 이 장거리더라도 잘할 수 있게. 왜냐면
나도. 그래서 근데 내가 진짜 한날 얘기 안 했냐고.
막 그 테이블 그
Ladies, I think I have something for you.
Thank you.
Just put the cover up there.
You're handling really well. Thank you. Oh, wow.
This is mini blast.
Thank you. 저 정도면 모델을 하셔야 될 것 같은데. 폴로, 랄프 로렌의
기념일 때 거기 가서.
근데 하나야, 너 지랄은 내 지랄에 비하면 너 진짜 삐이야. 저씨는 알아야 돼. 알걸, 저씨도? 너의 지랄은 정말 다른 여자들에 비하면 깜짝질하는 거를 맞아. 왜냐면 아이도 낳으려고 하잖아. 너가 가정을 만들려고 하잖아. 이런 여자가 없어. 왜 이거 먹을까? 전화해.
Guys, are we still going over here or we all done?
Hold on.
All done?
Thank you.
Any room for desserts?
Could we please have just one serve of tiramisu?
Yep, definitely.
Thank you. The food was really amazing. The food.
Okay,
Just one tiramisu is fine.
one tiramisu to
Yes,
share,
please.
no worries.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry to bother you. I will have a small question for you. Do you want to fill for the tiramisu?
Oh yeah?
Do you prefer to have the stand here or the stand here?
doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter.
No. I know. I was managing like social media before. This was my job, so I know exactly how it can be. That's why I wanted to ask you the question, maybe of the light or something. You're so sweet, darling. Thank you. You're spinders. You know that it works.
Oh my god, thank you so much. Thank you. 웬일이야.
너무 귀여워. 너무 귀여워.
야, 네. 퍼스에서 제일 맛있는 티라미수의 5위 안에 들.
아 진짜?
응, 이게 난 개인적으로 차오보다 맛있어. 이거 먹고 차오 먹으면 차오가 맛이 없어.
다시 하겠나? 이런 베니 레스토랑 이런 데 매니저를 해봤잖아. 할수 있을
나는 만약에 기회가 주어진다? 근데 내가 한 만큼 벌 수 있다? 그럼 나 할 것 같아. 호스피탈리티의 최고 단점은 내가 한 만큼 돈을 못 번다는 게 최고 단점인 것 같아. 그러니까 물론 모든 잡이 그렇겠지만 세이지 않은 이상.
우와, 성우 언니다. 여기서 보게 되다니. 오빠는 상어 언니를
진짜 오랜만이다. 언니 홍콩에서는 자주 나가요 밖에? Yeah. Ooh. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Tetra told me I look like I'm on holiday every single time. Yeah, that's my life.
Yeah, because I think that she's always confused where you are. Like my mum's always confused where you are too.
You still have to buy me a birthday present this year.
Why?
I don't deserve it. I forgot about your birthday.
I didn't forget that. You called me.
I got. Yeah, like 10 minutes before.
Come.
No, you told me. Do you know what day is it today? That's what you said. But that's really nice of you because if I were you, I'm gonna be fucking cruel and I'm gonna be like, okay, this guy, 20 minutes left. I'm gonna counting down if this guy is no or no.
You were in a different time zone.
But I think my baby is gonna be holding this forever and keep telling me that how horrible I was. Forget about your birthday, right?
It's the plan. Also, what we did last time when you had to fly out.
What do you wanna eat tonight? What do you want me to make? Something light or something warmish? Something warmish?
Is it? Okay, sounds good. So we've got the garden salad and sesame dressing. So you roasted curry. Thank you. Welcome.
Amazing. Thank you.
No problem.
Yum, 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 yum.
It's good.
Looks so really good.
Yeah.
But how did you know this, the YouTube thing that you told me that you want to show me?
Because I follow this guy because I watch his motorbike stuff.
Oh.
Yeah,
So just starting from this end, we've got your veal and your grain-fed breast.